Saving your first $10,000 will take longer, require more sacrifice, and feel harder than saving your next $100,000. That sounds backwards, but it's not. There's a mathematical reason and a psychological reason, and if you don't understand both, you'll quit right before it gets easy. Let me show you why the first $10,000 is the hardest money you'll ever save. The math. Compound interest works in reverse. Here's what most people miss. Your first $10,000 has zero time to compound. You're building it dollar by dollar. $500 this month, $300 next month, $700 the month after. No compound interest, no returns, no growth, just raw accumulation. That $10,000 takes pure effort. But your next $90,000? That $10,000 is now working for it. At 10% annual returns, that first $10,000 generates $1,000 per year doing nothing. So now you're not saving $10,000 alone. You're saving maybe $8,000 because the first $10,000 is generating $2,000 in returns over that period. By the time you hit $50,000 saved, that money is generating $5,000 per year. You're only saving $5,000. The other $5,000 is coming from compound growth. Here's the timeline most people never see. $0 to $10,000, 100% your effort, no help. $10,000 to $50,000, 80% your effort, 20% compound returns. $50,000 to $100,000, 60% your effort, 40% compound returns. The first $10,000 is the only money you save with zero assistance. That's why it's the hardest. Not because you're bad at saving, because the math hasn't kicked in yet. The psychology, 100% behavior change versus continuation. But the math is only half of it. Here's the psychological mechanism. Saving your first $10,000 requires 100% behavior change. You're going from spending everything you make to saving 15 to 20%. Zero financial systems to automating transfers. Reacting to money to planning for money. Living month to thinking in years. Every single habit has to change, and changing habits is exhausting. Your brain fights you the entire way. Do I really need to skip that dinner? Everyone else is upgrading their apartment. I've been saving for 6 months and only have $3,000. The first $10,000 is pure willpower against every instinct you have. But saving the next $90,000? That's just continuation. You've already built the systems. You've already changed the habits. You've already proven to yourself you can do it. You're not starting from zero. You're maintaining momentum. And maintenance is 10 times easier than initiation. The first $10,000 builds the foundation. The next $90,000 just stacks on top. Why people quit? Between $5,000 and $8,000. Here's where most people break. They save $5,000 to $8,000 and then life happens. Car repair, $1,200. Medical bill, $800. Unexpected expense, $600. Balance drops from $7,500 to $4,900. And they think, what's the point? I'm never getting ahead. So they quit. This is the invisible progress zone. You're doing everything right, but it doesn't feel like it's working. Because you're in the phase where compound growth is too small to notice. Emergencies can still wipe you out. Progress feels invisible. At $7,000 saved, a $1,500 emergency is devastating. At $70,000 saved, a $1,500 emergency is irrelevant. The first $10,000 is when emergencies feel like resets. After $10,000, they feel like bumps. That psychological shift is everything, but most people quit before they experience it. What actually changes? After $10,000. Here's what happens the day you cross $10,000. Your brain stops running the "am I going to make it" calculation, because you have proof. You saved $10,000. That's not luck. That's not a fluke. You changed your behavior and it worked. And once your brain believes you can do it, the resistance drops. Saving the next $10,000 doesn't feel impossible anymore. It feels inevitable. Second, emergencies stop resetting you. At $10,000, a $2,000 car repair drops you to $8,000. Annoying, not catastrophic. You don't go back to zero. You don't lose momentum. You just take a small step back and keep going. Third, compound growth becomes visible. At $10,000, earning $1,000 per year in returns feels real. You can see it. You can track it. Your money is making money, and that changes everything psychologically. because now you're not alone. Your money is working with you. Fourth, the identity shift happens. You're no longer someone trying to save. You're someone who has $10,000 saved. That identity shift is permanent, and it makes every decision after that easier. Because you're not trying to become a saver. You already are one. The brutal truth. Most people never hit $10,000, not because they can't, because they quit at $4,000, $6,000, $8,000, right before the math and psychology flip in their favor. They think, this is too hard, this is taking too long, this isn't working. And they're right, it is too hard, it is taking too long, but only until $10,000. After that, everything changes. The compound starts working, the habits are built, the emergencies stop resetting you, the identity is locked in. The first $10,000 is the price you pay to make the next $90,000 easy. And if you quit before paying that price, you never get to experience what saving actually feels like when the system is working for you instead of against you. Final thought. If you're at $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 right now and it feels impossible, you're right where you should be. The first $10,000 is supposed to feel hard. That's not a sign you're failing. That's a sign you're in the hardest part. And the hardest part ends at $10,000. After that, the math works for you. The psychology works for you. The momentum works for you. But you have to get there first. The first $10,000 is the cost of entry to a game where the next $100,000 is easier. Don't quit before you pay it. If you want money advice for people willing to do the hard part to make everything after easier, that's what this channel is for. Let me know how close you are to your first $10,000.